Hello everyone, welcome to Mango Goblin. I'm Chicks of course, and hello if you've just joined me today. This is my continuation of the Spelljammer series for Tuesdays, but this is on a Wednesday, sorry about that. We're going to continue our series by going down the lists of creatures that you can find in Spelljammer and the various books and articles that were written on it. We're going to look today at something called an Argos. The Argos is a sort of strange looking creature that looks a cross between a blob and some sort of... It says it resembles a giant amoeba, has one large central eye with a tripartite pupil and 100 lashes. In human eyes and many sharp-toothed mouths, an Argos can extrude several pseudopods, each tipped with a fanged maw that functions as a hand. Argos move by slithering, they can climb to walls and ceilings, they can levitate and fly at the very slow rate of 3. Okay, huge beasts ranging in size from 10 to 20 feet in diameter, weighing about 200 pounds per dice. Although they do exhibit signs of being intelligent tool users, they don't wear clothes, choosing rather to carry gear stored in, well, holes in their rather gelatinous body. However, they do digest this within 2 weeks. An Argos can attack with 1 to 3 weapons or items, can enfold a victim, and attack with 1d3 mouse for 1d4 damage. It can attack as many foes in its way as it physically can reach. If it rolls a natural 20, it basically envelops you, swallowing you whole. It suffers 2d8 points of damage because of being digested, basically. The victim may attempt to cut his way free, using only short weapons, so daggers, knives. The eyes of an Argos are like those of a beholder. They have a variety of powers. They can bring 1d10 smaller eyes to bear on any target. So basically they have the eyes of a beholder. Although the creature has nearly 100 eyes, only 20 powers can be activated. And shall we look at the powers before we look at the stats? Blindness, burning eyes, charm monster, clairvoyance, confusion, darkness 15 inches only, dispel magic, emotion, ESP, fumble, gaze reflection, heat metal, hold monster, phantasmal force improved, irritation, light, slow, suggestion, tongues, flesh to stone. It's an omnivore, solitary, any earth-based body or space. They seem to hang around a lot of beholder worlds and empires or kingdoms or whatever they're called, depending on whichever beholder's in charge at the present time, considering them. They're neutral evil. You'll only ever get one though. I don't think you'd need more than one considering how overpowered they are. Now, according to the stats, it has different attacks here. In the stats here, it says it can only attack 3 times per person. However, in the fluff, as I said, it can attack as many people as it can reach, so I don't know. 25% magic resistance. It's a large creature, and it's basically got very high morale, 16. It's got a very fast movement, 9. It can fly 3, obviously. Basically, that's all we have on them, really. They also hang around asteroids for a while. Sometimes they'll hang around in clouds. They're always hungry though, so they'll always try to eat you first. So no matter how much you try and feed it in order to communicate with it, it's always going to be hungry. So you're never going to be able to try and deal with it on a person-to-person level. If you want to play one, my advice would be to either have some way of RPing the cessation of the hunger somehow. Maybe there's some sort of magic potion that you drink, or maybe there's some sort of herb that you found that can sate your hunger so you can actually think more about than food. Basically, you need to eat 2 times your own constitution. If you don't, you lose 1 point of constitution per week until you basically lose your hit points. And you can hibernate for a week by turning into crystal. So if you want to play one, my advice would be to maybe find the old dragon or dungeon, one that allowed you to play gelatinous creatures. I believe, I'm not sure what number it was, but I believe it was out there. And I would rework it. Maybe I would rework the I would rework. You see, I would say Goliath, but then again, it doesn't seem as much as a Goliath because, you know, I mean, although you're large, you're not very strong. Not really. Not really. But there we go. That's just my thoughts on the Argos, the very strange amoeba-like creature. We do have a picture of him. Looks kind of cool. A bit Shoggoth-ish. Very cool, very cool. Okay, so moving on, we have the Astereater. Do you remember that episode of Star Trek, the old series, with the monster, the planet killer? They're basically like that. They're very rare, they fly around, they're lawful evil. Why are you lawful evil? This is the stupid thing about 2nd edition. That because it has some semblance of going, oh well, I don't have to eat that planet, but I'm going to eat it anyway. It makes them lawful evil. It doesn't make them lawful evil. I would make them true neutral and like only eat planets that really wound it up. It can swallow a whole planet. It's related to the Beholders and Beholderkin, which is why all of them deny any relation to the Asteroideater, although they are. Although it's basically a Beholderkin, it has none of the intelligence or the magical abilities of its relatives. In appearance, it basically looks like a large cylindrical rock or beholder type monster. So basically it's virtually identical in appearance to them, but it looks more rock like and it'll hide in sort of like a hollow tube like the Planet Eater. They speak their own language, but they're not very smart. You wouldn't get much out of them, and they're so big that it's massive. So when its eyes and its mouth is shut, you can't see it. Basically, it just looks like space, or it looks like a large asteroid. Now, it says here that it inflicts 2d4 points of damage, but considering it also says that it can eat an entire planet later, that's a little too little for something. So, well, considering how it can swallow a whole planet, 2d4 damage, no, don't be silly. Now, there are exceptions where they'll have GIF platoons working for them. GIF are the hippo race that we'll come to later. They'll have about 10 individuals serving them. Now, if one of your players is working for a beholder, or if one of your players is allowed to be a beholder, or you're one, you hate these creatures with an undying hatred more than you hate your own kind. They hate them for two reasons. Number one, they look like beholders, or they act like them. Number two, beholders hate each other as a thing, and they want to be in charge. They don't like something which could possibly eat them. They see them as blots on their kind, and they see them as blots against them personally. So, they want to eat. Now, going back to the Astereaters, they love eating elves, and they love eating humans. So, maybe you want to play into that a bit. They don't talk very much because they're very hungry. The ones that do have platoons might be more talkative, but often they'll just communicate enough with the GIF, so the GIF will basically feed them enough stuff to keep them satiated. You can have smaller versions than the planet-sized ones. You can have ones that are very, like, asteroid-sized, but that's pretty big. That's about city-sized. So they've got a very low intelligence score, 5 to 10. You'll only ever get one of them around. They have one attack. They don't have the eye beams. They'll only have their central mouth and their central eye. You suffer 1d6 points of damage per round after being swallowed. Again, I dispute this considering their size. and they're 50% likely to be mistaken for an asteroid. Now, if you're a beholder, you will automatically know what they are, and you'll be incensed by them. This is, of course, from the Monstrous Compendium, and the Argos was also from the Monstrous Compendium Spelljammer Appendix. They are the next two creatures in the A list. Yes, we're still going A, and in this series what I'm going to try and do is, there's a lot of creatures that we've got to go through, so this series could try a while. I might try and do a couple more videos this week to try and get out of the A list finally. So do thank you everyone for watching, do take care of yourselves, and happy gaming, and bye bye.